Happy Thursday, family. Welcome to Teenage Thursday. Y'all know it's my favorite day of the week. And if you were anywhere on or nearby my timeline today, you saw that we are starting for the month of November. Behind the Genius, we're bringing back our segment where we interview non-traditional creatives who I title as genius. I call them a genius. And you know, a genius is just simply someone whom is using their intellectual capability and manifesting it into something creative. And today we have none other than Dr. Chelsey Green, who I'm super excited to share with you all her story and for you to meet her and to honestly be a light of inspiration for parents and for educators. If you have a special musician in your house, someone who loves or is fascinated with music, and or the idea of working in the music industry, I think it's always good to hear from someone whom is doing the work. So we're going to bring up Chelsey so you can meet her, and so that she can share a little bit about her journey right after this introduction. I'm so excited to have you tonight, Chelsey. So welcome to Teenage Thursday.
Thank you for having me. Come through intro and the graphics coming in. I was living. I was like, come on.
Listen,
That's
my personal motto is excellence in everything, every time. I try to be a living example of that. And when I think of people to bring and introduce to my community, they literally are that too. So thank you for giving me flowers, and I'm giving them right back at you.
Thank you so much for having me. I am honored to be here. And I mean, genius is quite a title, and I am humbled. I mean, to say the least, I'm humbled and so honored. So thank you.
You're absolutely welcome. You guys who are watching today, Chelsey, Dr. Chelsey is a musician. She is an educator. She's an entrepreneur. She is also an associate professor at Berklee School of Music. I think I said that title correctly. But I discovered Chelsey while she was doing an interview, and I had a chance to see her musicianship, and I was like floored. I was floored. First of all, she was a black woman playing the viola and a violin. And I'm super inspired. I'm always looking for people who I think would light a fire in your young people. And I think Chelsey is definitely that. So, Chelsey, I wanted to ask you, I just want to start from the very beginning. What were like, how would you describe your teenage self?
Ooh, my teenage self. I would definitely say that as a teenager, I was a bit confused. And I feel like I can say that now because at the time I just kind of felt like I was going through motions. You know, you go to school, you do your best, you do your extracurricular activities and show up as best you can and just make it happen. Like it's clockwork. And I don't know that I really took the time to say, who am I? What am I trying to do? What am I trying to say? And honestly, thank goodness when I was a teenager, social media wasn't a thing. It was not, I am so grateful that it was not a big thing. Like the timeline was what was happening at lunchtime. At that point, it was what is happening in the cafeteria, what is happening outside, like what's happening at the football game.
Yep.
That was, and I'm grateful because that was super low key, compared to what teenagers are faced with now. And
Hmm.
I just remembered loving playing the violin and loving what it felt like, loving the opportunities to collaborate with people and make music together. That was always so much fun. And I just said, I just want to keep doing this. I didn't really know how or what way. I just knew that it was something I wanted to pursue.
So, was there a moment in your childhood or at what point of life did that thought occur? When you were a teen, when you were in college?
Well, when I was a teenager preparing for college and considering like college auditions and where I would apply to college, that was at the fore of my mind because I knew I wanted to
Mm,
apply to a place that had a music program. Like I wanted to apply to a place that where I could major in not only music but also with the specialty of my viola being what I
mm,
concentrated on. So that really eliminated a lot of choices because
mm.
not many schools offer specialized programs like that. So
So good. What do you think is the value of attending a school that has a specialized, like a super niche down? Because you literally
mhm,
studied viola studies at the University of Texas at Austin, and you
I
were also
did.
summa cum laude. What do you think is the value of niching down to study your craft?
I think the value is focus. I think college is just such a great place for exposure socially, culturally, what you want to do professionally. I was blessed with the opportunity to study abroad. So you get a lot of exposure, you get a lot of ideas, and
Mm,
you know, that's such a formative years, a few years for a kid of that age that the more you're exposed to, the more you can draw from as you move into your professional life. And I was very fortunate that viola was able to blossom in the scope of what that was in college. So I was able to really nail down a focus and truly, at the end of the day, just really understand what it meant to be disciplined
mm,
while being in clubs and organizations,
mm.
while managing my RA job, while managing this and that. And
You were
that's
an
really the
RA too?
I was an RA. I was.
Wow.
I
Nice. So I always have this question. How did your parents feel about you studying music?
was. Well, my dad is a musician. So I think I can be completely honest and say he had mixed emotions about it because he wanted me to maybe not have to deal with some of the pressures and difficulties that having a career in music means. He was like, I don't want my baby girl to have to be out here dealing with this, and he knew what it
Yeah.
was. And so but he also knew that I had a serious passion for the art of what it meant to be a
Mhm.
musician, and he saw it in me very early. So he always supported me. My mother is a very big music lover, many different styles and genres, and they were always very supportive in a way that was not pushing me to do it, but encouraging me to do it if it was something I wanted to pursue.
Yeah, I love it. I
Mhm.
love it. I love when parents are when they are open, open to you exploring your interests and making ways for that to happen because typically they're usually financing it too.
Amen. Yes, yes, they are, and we are grateful for that. We really, really thank you, parents, for investing in us in that way. Yes,
Absolutely. My sister has been playing the piano since she was 4. She's been taking private lessons since she was
yes,
5. And musicians lessons and instruments alone and the instrument maintenance, that sometimes is a card note. So it's a nice
well,
little card note. Um,
that's a testimony, and it's true. Yes, yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
so Chelsey, I wanted to show this clip. I wanted to show this clip of you performing that you posted on your Facebook page. And I wanted you to talk
Okay,
to a little bit about what this clip is. Like, where were you at? What was you doing? So you ready to see
okay.
it?
Let's see it.
Okay, let's go. That's my song. Look, Chelsey
Yeah.
was getting it. Where were you?
We were actually at the Black owned Wine and Spirit Festival. We were outdoors performing. They had food trucks and tables set out. And then on the interior there, just behind those garage doors, they had Black owned wine and spirit vendors doing taste tests and just had their whole setup out. And I was like, wow, it was such a magical experience to see that
Mm.
many, vendors of color doing their thing. I mean, I didn't taste. I didn't taste, but it was amazing. I'm like, y'all better do your thing, and it was just so many. It was so many. Yes.
Awesome. I love it. I will pull up two more photos and I want you to tell me, like, where were you when you were here?
Oh my goodness. There we were at the DC Funk Parade. Love that event, and it brings together so many locally based bands and artists and musicians. And we had the esteemed privilege of performing right there literally across the street from Ben's Chili Bowl, right in the heart of DC. And right, just it was so much history, ripe history right there on U Street. And just to be in that space, in that energy, and creating that
Mm.
vibe was so much fun. And then this is, that photo was just one of my most recent photos that I took last year for, just to update. You know how we take photos just to keep things fresh?
Yep.
And I recently had a weight loss journey, and I said, I think it's time to update some photos, and we went ahead and did that photo shoot. It was a lot of fun.
I love it. I love it. And you look gorgeous, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you so much. As do you. As do you.
Thank you. I noticed that you used the word we when you were talking about your performance. Who is the we that you are referring to?
I am referring to the Green Project. So Chelsey Green and the Green Project. That's usually my crew that I have the honor of performing with, and we've collaborated together. We have created CDs together. We have toured the world together. And I tell you, it has been such a blessing to have their support as well. So that's
Mm.
the full ensemble, Chelsey Green and the Green Project.
I love it, the Green Project. So,
Yeah.
Chelsey, as a musician, what and an entrepreneur, what's been the best advice that you've received from a mentor, a professor, or anyone in your particular industry? What's the best advice that you've received?
The best advice that I received was from my dear Viola. Well, some of the best advice I've received. A lot of incredible advice from some very genius. They are geniuses, like just incredible musicians, artists, arts administrators, educators, etc. My parents, of course. I will say one of the pieces of advice that I took to heart the most was when I was getting my master's degree. I was at Peabody Conservatory studying with Stephen Wiercinski, who's now a professor at Indiana University. But I came into my lesson one day. I thought I was ready. Okay, I had practiced. I put my books on the music stand, and I was like, "Let's get it! I'm ready to go." I opened the book. I started reading those notes, and I was playing. And he started packing up his stuff. He started packing up his suitcase, and he was like, "So I'm gonna go ahead and go home since you're here to practice." And I was like, "Well, no, I'm not. I'm not trying to practice. I was trying to perform for you." And he said, "If you want to learn how to play the viola, we can do that. But if you want to learn how to be an artist, that's what I would prefer. Artists don't artists don't need to read the notes because they have it." And to me, that meant that it was time for me to ante up and
Mm.
internalize what it meant. And I tell my students often, like, y'all think I'm asking you to memorize the piece just because. There's a method to the madness. Like, I want you to not memorize, but internalize. I
Mm.
am a Christian, and I've been going on a journey of trying to, make sure I memorize scripture so that I hold it in my heart in a different way than needing to reference it, right? Because when it's internalized, it sits in your spirit in a completely different way. And I feel
Yes, it does.
like that's what I try to execute through my instrument as well.
I love that piece on internalizing your craft or what
Yes.
you're anything that you're doing. I always feel like, well, my motto, excellence in everything, is rooted in the scripture of Ecclesiastes 9:10. Whatever you fix your hand to do, do it with your might. And that just means do it the best that you can when you get the opportunity to do so. And I feel like the only way you do that is through study. Study so much so that it is like ingrained inside of you. And
Yeah.
people are surprised when I do a 90 or 60-minute keynote. I have memorized the material, not verbatim, but I know it so richly because
Yes.
I have to be a good steward over like the time, the privilege, the minds, the hearts of those who I'm just connecting.
Ooh-wee.
And so that totally resonates with me when you said that. Totally.
That's it. You said one of my favorite words, the privilege. Like when you have the platform, that is a privilege, and that is a ministry moment. You are connecting
Mhm.
with audiences, and that's such a powerful exchange of energy, and they're looking to you, and
Yep.
in some way you are an educator to anyone who is listening. You
True.
become, it's a teaching moment. So it's quite a special privilege. I agree.
Yep. Whatever kind of platform you receive, it is an
Yeah.
opportunity. You literally have the heart and the mind of an individual in whatever
Yes.
platform it is. It's so true. Oh my goodness. So, Chelsey, what would you say? Because you've been able to use the field of music and monetize it in different ways. In your at the top of your head, like off the top of your head, what are some ways in which musicians can monetize their gift of their instrument or their craft that they usually or commonly don't consider?
Wow. I will say that the first thing that comes to mind is ownership. So just ownership of all of your IP, all of your intellectual property. And of course, I think it's usually commonly considered that we consider recordings as intellectual property, or CDs that we make, or songs that we create, but also making sure we keep up with credits of things that we've done with collaborators is very important. Like keeping up with, okay, well, where have I contributed musically here, there, and then also what it means to be a teaching artist, right?
Mm,
Like there is artistry in education, and there is a lot of learning to be had with regard to performances in educational spaces. And I think that has been transformative for me in the Green Project as well. So I would say those two really would create that ownership piece that can get someone started.
mm. Ownership. Okay, on your IP. I filed a trademark this year. I'm not playing. I am not
I
playing.
love it.
Okay.
I love it. That's it. That's it. Congrats.
Thank you. Thank you. What would you say are some of if you could give me two skills that you had to master to
Ooh.
achieve the level of success that you've achieved today? What are those two skills that you would attribute your success to?
I'm mastery is something I feel like I'm still working towards. But
Mhm.
I'm gonna definitely give the first award to discipline. And I feel like discipline
Mm,
means a lot of different things. And I think that is what I'm so grateful for, really learning in a new way with regard to my weight loss journey.
mm,
There's something in consistency, right?
mhm.
There is something in what that does to not only your routine but also to your mental routine, and how you
True.
mentally show up for yourself, right? And so when you have that trust and consistency, that discipline allows you to have a focus that can give your attention in a different way to something, and that is very powerful. So
Mm.
I definitely am gonna have to say discipline first, and then I'm going to say the second one is multitasking. So, we wear a lot of hats, and I am so grateful to have performances and work with, band members and things like that. Somebody has to manage that. Someone has to manage all of those moving parts, the sound needs, the backline needs. How are the logistics being handled? Where's the transportation come from? Where are we staying when we get there? How are we getting from the venue here and there? What will they eat? Who will get paid? How are we? So someone has to manage all of that while I'm writing syllabus for my classes at school, while I'm answering student emails, while I am juggling, curriculum development, and while I'm, attending this.
Mm.
I serve on 3 boards. So that's a very large volunteer commitment and board service and what that looks like. And I do a lot of community service. So you're constantly
Mm.
having to multitask as best you can.
Mm. Yeah, you were definitely multitasking because, from my understanding, you were hooded with your doctoral degree while you were on tour. You were touring the Middle East, Haiti, Japan with your band. So I think you might be the queen, the creme de la creme of multitasking.
It was not a game. I tell you, that semester was it was a lot, but it's always a challenge until you do it, right? And so then
Mhm.
you realize, well, if this was manageable, then you have the bandwidth to manage more if you focus.
Oh my God, I love that you said that. And it reminded me, I just had a little flashback of one of Pastor Mike Todd's sermons. And he always
Yeah.
says, it's always crazy until it.
Un- until it happens. I love me some crazy faith. I love Pastor Mike Todd. I love it.
Me too. Me
Yes.
too. I didn't share with y'all this, but Chelsey has been on the stage with quite a few icons: Stevie Wonder, Lizzo, J. Cole, Kurt Franklin, Mumbo Sauce, Northeast Groovers, the Wu Tang Clan, and more. And I just wanted to know, out of all of those performances, I don't know if you could say this, but which one was your favorite?
Oh my goodness, I can't pick a favorite. I cannot pick a favorite. I will say I had a life-changing one
Mm.
when we were performing. The Green Project was performing for a BET event, and it was the BET Honors. And that year, Aretha Franklin, Spike Lee, Stevie Wonder, and there were 2 other honorees as well, were being honored. And so we performed in front of them. And it was my, goal to make sure we performed one of each of the musical artists' songs. So we played a Stevie Wonder tune. We played Higher Ground. And after we got off the stage, they were like, "Chelsey, come meet Mr. Wonder. Like, we want you to be there." And I sat down and I said, "It is such an honor to
Wow.
meet you." And he was like, he leaned in and he was like, "Who told you to change the key of my song?" I was like, "Oh no." And then he said, "But I still loved it. I still loved it. You were great, and I thank
Wow.
you for playing my tune." And that was really really fun.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Chelsey, would you say that you are living your dream?
Ooh, we don't have enough time for that. I will say that I am so grateful for the opportunities. You know what I mean? And what God has done, because I can honestly say I never even dreamed this, which is why that, when God says that he can do more than you ask or even imagine, immeasurably so, that is this moment for me, because I never, when I was in high school, when I was a teenager, I didn't dream this. It was, I want to keep playing violin. I want to keep playing the viola. I thought that was going to maybe mean me being in an orchestra or me doing a string quartet here and there. I didn't know what it had the potential to look like, but God, I just really have to attribute it to Him. And so I am just so grateful for the ways He keeps opening my eyes to
Mm.
more. And I think that even over what it means to play the violin in these spaces is the true blessing
Mm.
of it. Like if you sit back and allow God to direct what it is that you have to give, because he's the divine aligner of organizing the gifts that you have even beyond the gift that you know, right?
Mm. The
And
divine aligner.
yes, yes.
Wow. I know that when we were backstage talking before we started the show, you talked a little bit about how what I understood was when you are in the classroom teaching as an educator, you're not teaching the curriculum. It's more beyond just words on the paper for you. And to me, I got the sense of while it's purpose work, you are intentionally um, reminding the students that you serve that they too intend prayerfully to serve or serve to or submit to a purpose. What would
Right.
you say? What would be your advice to the teen or parent or classroom educator who is watching today? What would be
Mhm.
your advice to them as they are imagining, thinking, or dreaming about doing the thing that they love?
Wow. I would say with all your might, as much as you can, don't allow your personal limitations to damper or in any way dampen what you could hope for or dream for.
Mm,
We tend to create paths based on what we know, right? But when we create paths on hope with regard to what we have prepared for, and when we show up prepared, then you can really seize a different level of opportunity. And I think that is what, keeping an open mind looks like. It's keeping yourself conditioned, that conditioning of that discipline to stay focused is just so is so powerful. So I would just say don't allow personal limitations to create fear. It's
mm,
it's not it's not worth it, and I tell my kids all the time, no one out here in the industry is looking at your transcript. We want to make good grades. We want to show up as best we can because that means that you are being disciplined to your academic goals for this temporary station. We're trying to condition you to multitask, to manage what it looks like when you go into this industry. The industry is not going to be giving you a grade at the end of the semester. You know what I mean? So it's much deeper than that. And I would just say, yeah, don't let that fear get in the way.
I love it. I don't play an instrument and I've never been musically inclined, but if I did, I'd be sitting right in Dr. Green's class. I'd be sitting right in there. Two more things I want to ask you before I let you go, and I do
Sure.
want to acknowledge that Walter said he stumbled by across our live stream tonight. He has a teenage daughter who made the honor roll for the last 3 years, and he said it's a real good show. Thank you,
Yes.
Walter.
Congrats,
Thank you.
Walter. Hey, congrats to the daughter. Yes.
Absolutely. The blind guy, his wife, their life, my YouTube family. Dr. Green, it's a pleasure to have you here.
So nice to be here. Nice to meet you all.
I wanted to ask you, Chelsey, who was instrumental in your support tribe? Like when you think about all of the pivotal moments and milestones, if you could pull out
Mhm.
one or two persons who you say, you know what, they were really they were instrumental in my success today.
I'm gonna have to give the first spot to my parents. I always say we were the original green team, our trio. I'm an only child, and we were the original green team. They have literally been there from day one and have been encouraging me and supporting me in every way. And I've had just really incredible mentors in my life. I had my very first private teacher is still like an auntie to me, and she still keeps in touch. And that from 4 years old to now, she's known me almost my entire life. And she's been such a pivotal person in that mentorship. And you meet people along the way that you work with in different capacities that truly you can tell want the best for you, and that's very, very encouraging.
It is. I have so many persons. When I think about it, it
Yeah.
almost like I get a little teary eyed because it seems too good to be true that God would send those kinds of anchors. I just
Yeah.
it just I get a little emotional and I like to
Yeah.
cry. So don't pay me no mind.
Look, don't even hold me. Look, you see, I keep it close. I keep it close.
So you got some stuff coming up for the holiday season. Well, tell us a
Ooh,
little bit about this.
oh, I'm so excited about our holiday shows at Keystone Corner in Baltimore, Maryland. And it is a virtual show as well. So there will be a virtual broadcast for anyone that wants to tune in. You can buy virtual tickets. I believe they're only $10. And you can stream the show, or you can come in person. We love for you to come and vibe with us in person. There are 4 shows on 2 days. So it's 2 shows on Saturday and 2 shows on Sunday. All the shows are going to be different. I can promise you that, because it's a early evening and a late night situation. So it's no telling what's going to happen. I tend to call a lot of audibles when we play. So
Tell us, could you give us a little sneak peek? What kind of tracks you gonna play, or with
oh well,
samples? Or
it's gonna be giving Christmas music. I can't even lie. It's gonna be giving lots of Christmas music. I love Christmas music. It's one of my favorite genres to play, and it's going to be giving grown and sexy. I mean, some throwbacks, some old school that everybody can sing along to, as well as some new school that you're probably singing in your car right now. So.
yeah, some of everything. I love a grown and sexy now. That sounds like where I
Ex-
was gonna be.
exactly, exactly.
The blind guy and his wife said late night is always a little more intriguing. The late
Look,
night show, huh?
it's them eyes. It's that emoji. That's what exactly that show is going to be. Absolutely. Yes, yes.
So, Chelsey, it's been a pleasure to have you tonight. Before I let you go, I did want to ask if there was anything else that you wanted to say or share with our listeners who are watching today, or our those who will catch the replay.
I just want to thank you again for this opportunity. It was so fun chatting with you. Thank you so much for having me. And honestly, I just want everyone to stay encouraged. This has been such a challenging season for us all, but we're still here. To God be the glory, we are still here. And that means our work is not done. And I really pray that you remain encouraged in hope, and not in a I gotta do it type of way, but I'm so
Mm,
grateful to have the opportunity type
mm.
of way. And also, I want to invite anyone to stay in touch with me. We're on Facebook, Chelsey Green and the Green Project. That's Chelsey with a Y, Chelsey Green and the Green Project, as well as on Instagram at Green Violinist.
I love it. Y'all need to go check out Chelsey now. Don't have her come all the way up here and talk about all the great things that God is doing through her, and you not going to support.
That's so
At
sweet.
least we can do. We can do. The blind guy and his wife and their life says, "You've been most enjoyable, Dr. Green. Challenging, yes, but we're still here." He's referring to the year 2021, I'm assuming.
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
Huh.
But thank you. I'm so glad that you all enjoyed it. And thank you again. This has been so fun. I really appreciate it.
It was such a pleasure. Thank you so much. And I told Dr. Green that I'm definitely, since I can't be at her show, I'm likely going to send my mom and her girlfriend. Okay. Somebody going to
Yes.
be blessed with the grown and sexy
Yes.
experience and the holiday music.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We got to. We got to.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Bye bye.
Bye bye. Oh my goodness. I am tickled pink in the inside. And I mean that very lightly. I always look for persons when I think about behind the genius and the intent of putting persons in front of you, the parent. or you, the educator, people who are infectiously, contagiously doing what they love, and you feel it. I mean, I don't know if you can't feel it. I felt Dr. Chelsey's energy and her enthusiasm and the intentionality of how she teaches her students. It's not just music. We were talking in the green room. She said, it's not just music for me. It's not just performance. It's purpose, musicianship. It's being a good steward over your time. It was just amazing. And when I think about all of the giftedness that our children have, like wrapped up, bundled inside of them, and what it feels like to express it and share it with the world and to be paid for it, we need to see examples of that so we can see that these kinds of things are certainly possible. Thank you, Walter. Walter said, great show. I appreciate you. Thank you for stopping by and hanging out with us. We are here every Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Teenage Thursday. And the intent of Teenage Thursday is to bring to the forefront that parents and educators are essentially in the NICU. You are nurturing a child in the neonatal intensive care unit, and you are a really big pivotal part of nurturing their development and their purpose. And my intent is to give you practical ways in which you do that. And so behind the genius for the month of November is more so of inspirational interviews to kind of show you people who are infectiously doing what they love and doing it well. So I'm super glad, Walter, that you enjoyed tonight's show, and thank you all for watching. If you happen to catch the replay, I want to know what you thought, and make sure you check out Dr. Chelsey Green's upcoming event. She did mention that it's in person and virtual, so if you're not in the DMV area, you can still go by and support. Blind Guy and his wife, their life says, yes, more examples of these perfect little gifts inside and out that we call children. Oh my goodness. Yep, they are. Children are a gift from the Lord. They really, really are. And we're really privileged to have them. Well, I won't keep you long. Thank you for joining this week's Teenage Thursday. I will see you next Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here. I love you, and there's nothing you could do about it.